So while Mr. Frisco is not laying down and sleeping, I wanted to do a video about his fatty lipoma, which has since been removed. So you can see it got removed right here where the light fur is. That's pretty much where his lipoma was. So back in 2000, I want to say 13 or 12, we noticed that Frisco had a large lump here on the side. Where's he going? Yeah, where are you going? Get back here. Where are you going? Frisky, he's not cooperating now. I'm not giving you any more treats. You've had so many treats. God, treat piggy. Alright, so it was like right here, like under this lipoma, and there's, under this light fur, and there's actually this really dark line of fur, which is the scar. This is, oh my goodness, how many months? November, December, January, February, March, April, May. So this is the 7-month look, I guess you could say. This is after 7 months from surgery. And so about 2000 and 2013, we took him to the vet, like I said, because we noticed the lump, and it was steadily growing, and so we were really worried. We're like, oh my gosh, it feels like a tumor. Oh no, he has cancer. So we freaked out, but we took him to the vet, and the vet reassured us that she was almost 99% positive that it was actually a benign tumor called a fatty lipoma. And we're like, what the hell is a fatty lipoma? Sounds ridiculous. It turns out fatty lipomas are just large fatty masses that are actually quite common on cats and dogs, and I don't know other animals, but at least cats and dogs. And they're not cancerous. They can be either directly under the skin, or they could actually be internal, so they could actually impact the organs. We had to have x-rays done to make sure that it was not an internal lipoma, and it turned out it was just under the skin. So his lipoma was huge, and usually for small mass it's cosmetic and it doesn't really need surgery, but his was getting over a year. It like doubled in size. It was really big, and we started to notice that he had issues. He actually like pulled a muscle in this foot about not too long ago, last summer I would say, so almost about a year ago before his surgery. He pulled a muscle in this foot jumping down from a chair, and the only thing I can think of was that the lipoma was actually, because he lays like this, he doesn't lay on this side, he usually lays on this side. The lipoma was so big that it was cutting off circulation to this foot, and when he got up quickly and jumped down, he actually jumped on the foot wrong and he tore a muscle. So, you know, I told my mom when I brought him here with me to San Diego, I told her, you know, maybe we could look at surgery for the lipoma. So we ended up getting it surgically removed, which costed, oh gosh, it costed about $800, something around that range, $800 to $900. And it was an in and out surgery. They put him under anesthesia. I was so worried because he's older, but he did great. He did absolutely great. And he came out with this enormous incision. It was like from here, like half of his body, it came up like to his spine. It was enormous. And the vet was like, no, I don't want you to freak out, but the incision is a little bit larger than we initially planned. I was like, oh, okay, why? And he informed me that the lipoma was actually a lot larger than they originally assumed. And to pull the skin together, they needed to make a larger incision and also to pull the lipoma out. So poor Frisky, this entire area over here was shaved, and he had this enormous, massive scar. Or massive incision. I think I counted like 28, 26 or 28 stitches. It was a lot. And he had to wear a cone and he had to take his meds, and that was for about 2 weeks. Yeah, he had to have the stitches in for 2 weeks and kept an eye on it. Never had any infection, which was really good, but he was also on meds, so that was helping it. And after 2 weeks, he went back to the vet and we got his stitches out. Unfortunately, he still had to wear his cone for like, I don't know, 4 more days because we didn't want him irritating the area. And in about a week, you know, he was looking really good, and he didn't need any more stitches, he didn't need medication or anything like that, and he was good to go. So it took him about 2 more weeks after getting the surgery or getting the stitches out to really get back to normal. I was so glad he got the cone taken out though, because cone taken off, because he was like a complete moron with that cone on. He would like bump into walls, and oh my gosh, he would just act so stupid. I feel really bad for him. He had so many issues with the cat pan. I had like several set up because it was really hard for him to get in and out, because I mean this stitch impeded like his mobility in this leg. He couldn't lift it very well. You can't really see it, but it came down like all the way to like, I wish you had like sit how you normally sit. Okay, but it came down like all the way to the what you would call like the elbow or joint or whatever, I don't know, but it was a really long stitch. I'll put some pictures in maybe. And so yeah, it really impeded his mobility and like lifting his leg, and then he went through a bout of diarrhea, which was even worse because of the meds. So let's just say, I was really happy that it was like all said and done with. And when he went home for Christmas, he got so much extra love because everyone felt so bad, and they're like, oh, Frisco. And he wore his little Santa suit, looking so cute. Yeah, here's little baby, little baby. But that was, they had to do a biopsy in the beginning at this other vet that we first went to make sure that it was a non-cancerous fatty lipoma. They're usually not cancerous, but to make sure it was a lipoma and not cancer. They did this biopsy, and it came back that it was negative for cancer. And then when I took him to another vet to do the surgery, the vet wanted to do blood work again, and also needed to do x-rays to check if it was internal or like external, basically. Internal or external, I guess you could say. And then he gave him medication. I mean, that was pretty much it. The surgery, the medication, stitches, cone. He didn't have a drain. They chose not to put a drain in the stitching, which would allow any fluid buildup to drain out, which I was glad that they didn't, because it sounds really gross. Overall, Frisky has done so much better. He used to stand up and he would be really wobbly getting up. And now when he stands up without the lipoma, he's up and ready to go. He gets up super fast. He still has arthritis in his hips, severe arthritis in his hips, which we also felt the lipoma might be dragging it down a little and causing a little bit more discomfort there. You know, he still can like lift his leg again. You know, he had hard time with this mass. It was actually measured to be about half of a pound, which is pretty big. I mean, you could fit your whole like hand over this mass and like it would like fit in your hand like this. It just, yeah, it was awful. So before surgery he was about 14 pounds, and then like when I brought him here and then up until surgery he lost about 3 pounds. But after the surgery he's been gaining weight again, steadily, surely but slowly. And yeah, he's just been doing so much better. We think that it's so much more comfortable for him. He still prefers to lay on this side as opposed to this side. We aren't exactly sure why, but that's just the way it goes, I guess. Yeah. So he got his surgery when he was 14, and now he's 15, and he's still doing really well. Any questions or comments, please leave them below, and don't forget to subscribe.